2 and 1.
Up in the booth with the people are fresh. There was one DJ who had to pass the test, and now he's down below and he's ready to play. That's right, y'all. His name is AJ. Never gets nervous when he cuts the beat. He gives that line service in the clutch on the street. A completely they can't be beat. Was AJ never
Let me kill that before I get to dancing up in here. I got my brother, my frat, my noob, like no other, Coach Johnnie Cole, joining me on the new style. It is the Lunch Break Sports Talk Show. We are on the JM&E Sports Network, and we're on Roku by virtue of BS3 TV. Big shout out to Ben Sutter III, got us on Roku in millions of homes. So again, I am in the being rebuilt or remodeled studio for JM&E. You'll hear more about that in a little bit, but man, I had to get with my brother, Coach Johnnie Cole, as we take our HBCU Stroll. And Coach, looking good, Billy Ray. How you doing out there in all that sunshine?
Man, I'm doing wonderful, doing great. Just came off of a couples retreat that I thought that was enlightening, very enlightening, you know, and really learn how to evaluate myself and learn how to not look at your partner to fix you, but fix yourself first.
Okay.
So it was a great experience, and of course, you could see how beautiful it is out here.
Yeah, man, that must be nice. That is really nice. That's some good stuff too, man. We might have to have a special show for that right there.
Well, you know, there's a lot of broken people,
yeah.
You know, and include me, myself, and you know, you're always working on yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or should be.
Yeah, Trey Pike has already jumped in, man. He's a good brother, Captain Trey Pike. Yo, Johnny. Saw where LC is headed to Allen University as the DC. Talk about that. Talk about the legendary Coach LC Cole.
Yeah, you know, he just had it on the high school level. You know, my brother's extremely good coach. I think he's one of the best coaches I ever been under, and I had a privilege because he's my brother to be close and on the inside. And I've seen him, you know, make sugar into sugar pie. You know, all the programs that I helped him rebuild, and all the kids that you know he touched. You know, it's unfortunately that people hadn't taken advantage of what he brings to the table, and you know, God always have a way.
Yeah.
And you know, with Allen College and Coach Keith out there at Allen, that has hired him on the staff, and you know, I look for big things from him.
So, what was that process like? You know, you and I have talked about that off air a number of times about, you know, how a coach goes from, let's say, a high school program to a college program as a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, or even as a head coach. What's that process like, Coach?
Well, you know, one of the things is because my brother is so experienced, you know, both on the high school level and as well as the college level, it really was, hey, Coach, I need a defense coordinator. You know, he didn't insult my brother by trying to say, oh, well, let me interview you, you know, because they faced each other as well. You know, when he was at the head coach was at Stillman and my brother was at Concordia. Mm-hmm. And then all the accolades that he's seen, brother being coach of the year, Eddie Ward, coach of the year winner, just got awarded over 35 years in the American Coach Association. So he reached out to my brother and see if, you know, he would want an opportunity to come to Allen College. And it just tell you what kind of coach my brother is. He don't coach mascots.
Yeah.
He coached football.
Yeah.
And the opportunity was there, and he took it. And again, you know, people need to look out for Allen College.
Yeah, I agree. We got the Coach Johnnie Cole with us as we take our HBCU Stroll. For those who don't know the new format, we're on from 12 to 1 now. Again, we're broadcasting live on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Roku TV. courtesy of BS3 TV. And again, Coach Johnnie Cole, thanks for making time for us. I think it's a great opportunity, man. I feel like those kids are going to benefit from the knowledge and the experience of a great legendary head coach.
Without a doubt. And one thing I know coaching at that level, you don't get coaches like Coach Cole. You don't get coaches like Keith. Keith, and he's a super coach as well as head coach. He's coached in the arena ball, and but and I know we'll get in it. That's what black coaches got to do.
Right.
I'm not saying that white coaches don't do that, but they move quicker, they move fast, they don't fall from grace like my brother has. Somebody picks them up.
Yep.
Somebody gives them that opportunity. Again, and and then of course, I'm biased. He shouldn't be there anyway, but he is. And like I said, we don't get into coaching mascot. We get into coaching football and help developing kids.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that line because it puts the focus back on what it should be, and that's those young men out on the field. It feels like sometimes, like with the Hugh Jackson situation, that the head coach can sometimes have an unforced error and put all the attention on all the wrong things. I mean, 1 minute Hugh Jackson is trying to jump on the Brian Flores bandwagon and say, he was treated poorly at Cleveland and he was paid to lose games. And then all of a sudden he start backtracking from all of that. And then he get in a situation where he can do the hiring. And does he look for a young black grad assistant? Does he look for a previously tenured, experienced offensive coordinator? No, he goes out and he tries to bring in Art Briles and literally tried to pay the man out of his own foundation, which I think has sounded some alarms in other areas. Can you say IRS? So anyway, I say all that to say that, man, it's like, I love hearing you talk about, we ain't coaching mascots, we coaching kids, as opposed to all this other stuff that we're seeing in the news lately. Uh-oh, Coach Cole, we got you on mute. Can you hear me? Coach Cole, can you hear me? Can't hear you. Yeah, we're going to drop him off, try to get him back in just a sec if we can. Coach Cole, come back in and we'll see if we can get you back on. All right. So anyway, good news. Thank you, Coach Captain Trey Pike, for that. Talking about his brother, LC Cole, headed to Allen University as the defensive coordinator. We're going to talk about some other stuff. Obviously, the SWAC basketball tournament is about to begin, and the brackets are filled. So I think we got Coach Cole back now. Coach, can you hear us?
Man, I'm sorry, Coach. I don't know why my friends will always want to call me at this time. But yes, I did want to elaborate on the Hugh Jackson situation.
Absolutely.
And, he just made an egregious decision, an egregious mistake. And, me and you always talk about, and people always talking about the white man. But we need to do it. We doing it to ourselves as well as that, and, I look at Hugh as an offensive guy that's been in the league and has a systematic way of calling his plays. And I just don't see why he couldn't go out and hire a black guy and teach him what he wanted him to know and bring him up under his tutelage so that guy can move on to be a coach. Because Art Briles, if that would have happened, and somebody would have gave him a head job, he wouldn't have been looking for, some black coaches. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have done that. And his staff would have been mostly of white coaches, on his staff. And again, that knocks one of us out. And do you think he gonna reach and get me? You know what I mean? My track record is good.
Yeah.
I've scored a lot of points.
Yep.
Nobody has reached out and got me, even our own.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders go hire, a white coach to run his offense. I had opportunity at Bethune-Cookman. They want to interview me, and I've been coaching 35 years.
Yeah.
What are you interviewing for me? To me, it should be let's come in and let's talk of what would you like to do? This is what we do.
Right.
Can you bring us together and do the thing? But yet I have to go through an interview. And white coaches that I know personally, that I've worked with, that have bounced around from black college to black college to black college and never had to go through an interview. But that's how we do each other.
Yeah, let me set the stage, Coach. It's the HBCU Stroll on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. I'm sorry, now we ain't on KYOK. Please forgive me. That's muscle memory. We're on the BS3 network. We're on YouTube, and we're on Twitch. People always want to make us check ourselves and say that's reverse racism when you want to hire only black coaches at HBCUs. But they don't want to run down to a school like an Ohio State. They don't want to run down to a Clemson. They don't want to run down to an Oklahoma or even a UT. They had one black head coach. They don't want to run down to those schools and say, you ought to consider a Johnnie Cole, or you ought to consider even a Hugh Jackson. They don't want to do that, but they want to make sure that HBCUs have a meritocracy program where it's based on not the color of somebody's skin, but based on their ability, when black head coaches don't get those same chances at predominantly white institutions.
Well, I'll take it a step further than that. Just look at the conferences.
Right.
You still got conferences where they hadn't had a black coach or only one white coach. When 70% of your football team, is black.
Yeah.
And we always want to be hard on us.
Us, right.
And until us get us straight, and give us opportunities to lead men and put us in leading roles, even at the black schools. How do we learn? I mean, even me, if I hired a coach, and I would be looking for an African-American coach, but if all he's ever been was the running back coach, then why would I want to give him the keys, to my Ferrari when all he's ridden is bicycles? And I'm not going to give him the job just because he's black. I'm going to give him the job because he's qualified.
Right.
Period. And I'm going to make sure, period. It's all about qualifications. Yeah. Again, I don't want to be on the Deion Sanders beat, but he gives a kid, a young man, a white guy, opportunity to run his offense that never coordinated before. Yeah. How is he more qualified than a me?
Yeah. Yeah. And again,
or TC Taylor, who's on the staff.
Yeah. My whole thing is these offenses that they're trying to gravitate to, the air raid offense. I'm still trying to get somebody to answer to me, what has the air raid offense won beyond, a district, basically a high school district championship? What has the air raid offense won? Now, folks push back on me about Art Briles because he won the Big 12, but what did he win beyond that? Again, it's great that you win a conference. It's great that you have, these records, but when do you put yourself in position for a national championship? Art Briles didn't do that. So,
well, let me say where we are and where we should be, and I'm glad you said that. As black coaches, somebody's got to carry the torch. Somebody has to think about the mass. We always want to jump on the bandwagon when we don't get a black coach in the NFL, when we got a whole lot of other problems, on the lower levels. You know what I mean? Somebody, I know Eddie Robinson carried the torch. I know John Thompson carried the torch because John Thompson told him in a BCA meeting, which was the Black College Association, Coaches Association, stop being so hard on us. Why, when we move up there, that we gotta be great. We gotta have the haircut. We got to dress the certain way. We got the speakers. We gotta have everything. But when they can get up on those levels and they can learn as they go.
Yeah.
But that's us.
Yeah.
That's us.
I'm just shooting this out real quick. If you want to get in on the conversation, the number to dial is 832-403-5005. You can also text that number, 832-403-5005, and I will read your comments. Some people who've already had this number, area code 313-434 says, AJ, Black History Month is over. Why are you guys still banging about black head coach? Because again, it's bigger than the month of February. I mean, that question is exactly why there is a problem. And I got to give Stephen A. Smith some credit on how he called out Hugh Jackson. The first opportunity that you got to be the final decision maker in hiring a black coach like yourself, you used that opportunity to try to bring in Art Briles. Not just that he was a white head coach, a white offensive coordinator, not just that, but all of the baggage, true or false, guilty or not, all of the baggage that was still surrounding Art Briles, and you use your first given opportunity to have the final say of hiring a black head coach at an historically black college and university, and you go for Art Briles.
Yeah, it's devastating to black coaches. I can talk. I'm not coaching right now, and there's a lot of coaches that call me, send me texts, understanding my situation when I'm going through of being blackballed from coaching in the black system. So it's bigger than that. And it's a lot of coaches are saying the same thing, that are black college graduates, that, you're taking away the one thing we have. Now they're becoming white coaches at black schools, when we're still got schools that never have hired a black coach. We got conferences that have never hired a black coach, or only have hired one. So it's so much disparity. The month of February ain't even an inkling enough.
Yeah.
Now we got to be quiet to next February.
I don't even listen to, and I'll be respectful, I don't even listen to people like that 313 text message. Because again, my culture, my history, my life is not defined or contained by a month. And, people who don't even understand why there is a need for black history. I say it simply. If you do it right, we wouldn't have to do that. If you would include black history in all history, if you would give black head coaches a fair chance at all colleges and universities, we wouldn't have to do this. But, here we are. Yeah. So let's go ahead.
Well, I say it's we got to do the Harriet Tubman, and I know people like, well, what does he talk about? The Underground Railroad, and that's why February just ain't good enough for us. Right. We got to have the other side,
right?
White coaches to see and make statements and stand up and bring black coaches on their staff and make sure they develop to be coordinators, not just black, because evidently we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation when I first started off in coaching back in 1986, and it's worse now.
Yeah.
And it ain't a bigger change. So we not going to do it.
Right.
So we need help from the other side as well to help produce our guys to come on another level, and whether it's a GA, whether it's an assistant coach, and start trying to diverse coaching staffs so we can get some.
Let me ask you a question. We got Coach Johnnie Cole joining us on the HBCU Stroll here on the lunch break. Again, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, and we are on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Does Nick Saban do a good job of hiring black assistants, in your opinion? I know you worked with him.
He does a good job of recycling head coaches. He does a good job of giving people second chances.
Okay.
When I look at the mass and have looked at his media, I think they could do a lot better. Okay. It's still majority of white guys, and are the black guys in position of authority? Well, if you look back at all his coordinators, I think he had Loxley.
Yeah.
Was probably the only one in the last 15 years.
Wow.
But I think he does a great job of giving guys second and third and fourth chances. All Nick Saban is interested in, which I agree with him on, is I'm not interested in your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in, are you a good coach?
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in making sure these kids win and we moving them through our system to graduate from school, because his graduation is above par, and to win football games. He leave the personal stuff out of it. Yeah, what you did over there, that's your thing. You know what I mean? What you do here, this is what my expectations, and this will give you opportunity to move to the next level.
Got the Coach Johnnie Cole joining us on the HBCU Stroll here on the lunch break. Yeah, I was going to mention Loxley as well, now the head coach at Maryland in the Big Ten.
Yes.
Let me throw out another big name coach. Probably the second biggest name to Nick Saban would be Dabo Swinney. What's his hiring record when it comes to black coordinators?
Slim to none. I'm trying to think that, what black coordinator has came out of Clemson, I can't recall any.
Yeah.
And that's just like everywhere else, that there is no black coordinator on the college level. I'm pretty sure there is. Of course, we got several coaches. Well, we got Stanford, we got Michigan State, we got Penn State, we got Syracuse, we got Arizona State. That's 5, and we got my man down there at South Florida, Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
And we might have several more that I could think of, maybe 10. I've counted them the other day with one of the coaches who called me. We might have 10 on the Division I-A level when you got over 120 Division I schools. And 70% of the program players are black. So we way off the mark. But then when you look at black college football, and we got 21 AA schools, you got half of the coordinators, if not a little more, are white. How does that happen? We're saying to ourselves that their ice is colder than our ice. And that's just not true.
Yeah.
You're taking opportunities not only away from blacks, but you're taking opportunities from coaches that are good enough to teach the other young black coaches.
That's the part I think gets left out of this discussion. Folks just kind of like to want to meld it down to race. And the reality is we're talking about qualified. We're talking about experience. We're talking about, guys who just need that chance, who just need that phone call to say, hey, listen, I want you to come run my offense. Hey, I want you to come run my defense. I saw what you did at such and such high school. I saw what you did over on the Division II or the Division III level, and I'd like to have you come and implement that at, Bethune, or I'd like you to come and implement that at Grambling or somewhere like that.
I mean, it's no different. How does a boy become a man? It's because his father is there to teach him how to be a man.
Right.
And it's the same as coaching. Some of these young black coaches, they have great minds.
Yep.
But they look at the big picture. The big picture is the money and the position. Well, if you're not prepared, and if, as you know, AJ, and we on this beautiful new show, if preparation and opportunity don't meet, success can't occur.
Right.
And so for success to occur, because we have had some jobs, and we've been unsuccessful at those jobs, it's because we wasn't prepared. We wasn't ready, And in the guys that had gotten those jobs was so afraid to go and hire some black guys, and some of them that's on the black level don't even know black guys.
Yep.
But that's not an excuse. There's black college football that has a black head coach and a black offensive coordinator used to, or assistant, to say, man, every year or when I get an opening, I'm going to call down there and I'm going to see if I can bring one on my staff or two on my staff, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
how many times when you hear about the Shanahans and those guys, some of them didn't even play football.
Man, listen, let me tell you something. That Shanahan tree is so full of nepotism. I can't even see straight.
I know Todd Haley. I don't know if you remember Todd Haley.
I know Todd.
Used to coach at the Steelers. I had the opportunity to meet him at the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
And I'm going to take my hat off to Todd.
Oh, okay.
We went out and we sat down and he just told me he said, I didn't play football. I played golf. I was at Florida State on a golf scholarship. My old man got me into football. They moved me into the front office doing the mail guy. Then I moved on up to scouting. They moved me in there as scouting. Then I moved to the football field. You see what I'm saying?
I'm like bouncing in my seat in this.
Then next thing you know, he calling plays in the NFL. I didn't say high school, did I?
Bruh, you said the NFL.
NFL.
And hold on now. Let me add the part to what you know with what you don't know. Man, the arrogance that he had at Pittsburgh.
With what you need to know. Today is Monday. We're back at it on this March 7th, 2022. Number 1, March 7th marks the 57th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, the deadly 1965 March for Voting Rights. On that Sunday, over 500 civil rights marchers began their trek in Selma, Alabama, demanding voting rights for Black people. For the first time since the coronavirus pandemic, and the deaths of several civil rights icons, official in-person events returned on and around the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. Number 2, nationally, at all levels of government, there is a shortage of Black staff. Ensuring campaign staff and consultants are from a mix of races, ethnicities, genders, and sexualities has been a persistent problem. Read more about how to get involved in today's newsletter, brought to you by the Black Women's PAC of Texas. Number 3, the U.S. will soon begin to run out of money to bolster COVID-19 testing supplies and guarantee that uninsured Americans keep getting free treatment for the virus unless Congress swiftly approves more funding. Nearly a year after the passage of the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, the administration says the federal government has nearly used up the money dedicated directly to the COVID-19 response. Officials say more money from Congress is urgently needed to buy antibody treatments, preventative pills for the immunocompromised, and to fund community testing sites. Number 4, former Kansas City, Missouri police detective Eric DeValcanaire, who is white, was convicted in the 2019 killing of 26-year-old Black man Cameron Lamb and has now been sentenced to 6 years in prison. Jackson County Circuit Judge J. Dale Youngs previously found the detective guilty of involuntary manslaughter and armed criminal action in November of 2021. After hearing testimonies, Judge Youngs sentenced the former detective to 3 years in prison on the involuntary manslaughter conviction and 6 years on the armed criminal action conviction. The sentences will run concurrently. Number 5, as our friend Stephen Hill says, his mom is kind of awesome. Check out the broadcasting executive's homage to his mother, Mrs. Wanda C. Hill, and how she changed the lives of generations and generations to come. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Don't give up on your dreams of having peace. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedians Chris Paul, Huggy Lowdown, and social justice activist Coy Malone as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Had a little technical difficulty. It was on the StreamYard end, not our end. So, yeah, we'll take that. And again, let me see if I can get Coach Johnnie Cole back on. Apologize for you, Coach Cole. The platform that we use went down. So when that goes down, hey, everything goes down. That's what happens when you're in business for yourself.
It was getting good.
I know. Real quick, Big Mike Riggins, good brother, man. He just chimed in. He said that Tony Elliott was Clemson's offensive coordinator last year. He's a head coach at Virginia right now, and he doesn't know if there was anybody else. And then he said Brennan Marion needs a shot somewhere at OC. He needs to be an OC somewhere. So, again, this is what blows my mind. You can see it. I can see it. Big Mike can see it. I got to believe I'm going to sound like Doughboy from Boys in the Hood. Either they don't know or they don't care.
I think it's both. And that's one of the things when I coached at University of Cincinnati, the head coach, and I don't want to say his name, he just didn't know a lot of black coaches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't know. So I was able to hire, really gave him some names to some guys, and he ended up hiring one of those guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that side is one side. And I'm big on what we need to do for each other.
Right.
And when we got them opportunities, I like to look at the black coaches who in the conference, and I'm gonna do that. And so next week when we talk, I'll be able to have another better idea of how many coaches black coaches do they have on their staff?
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't have more black coaches on their staff, then I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Are they saying that they don't know no black guys?
Yeah.
That's disqualified to coach?
Yeah. Coach Cole joining us on the HBCU Stroll here on the lunch break. We're on the BS3 network, ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. Real quick, I remember a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was even a month ago, when the coach of Florida A&M was trying to reach out to the coordinator or the president, whatever you want to call him, of the Reese's Senior Bowl. And he couldn't get any contact back from the dude until he put on social media, hey, how can I get my kid, Marquise Bell, as a part of this Senior Bowl, Marquez Bell, part of this bowl. And the coach, instead of reaching back out to coach down at FAMU personally, responded back on Twitter. I've got several friends on your staff. It's a shame that you couldn't reach out to one of them to get to me.
Wow.
And it's just like, you would much rather seem like you are the person in control rather than say, hey man, I'm really excited about seeing this kid. Oh yeah, by the way, he was one of the best performers at the NFL Combine. One of the best performers at the NFL Combine, and he couldn't play in your game because you were trying to put somebody in check and let them know you the big man over the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely that. It's all politics. It's all who you know and what you. It ain't what you know, it's who you know. Especially when it comes down to those games and that politic game. And a black college kid is always going to be the one that's going to be left out. And that's just how it is. Unless he's so exceptional that he's next level.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in my career, I've been able to coach about 4 or 5 guys who have played in that game. Jacoby Jones from Lane, and Darnell Kennedy and McCauley when I was at Alabama State, and that's a really, really political game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at the SWAC players that have done a phenomenal job at the NFL Pro Combine, and it ties in with what we're talking about right there. If you don't have the diversity in coaching, then guess what? You're going to minimize the accomplishments of someone from historically Black colleges and universities because, again, you've already got predisposed or preconceived biases about their level of competition, about their skill set, about their ability. And you got guys running some of the fastest 40-yard dashes that have ever been run. You got linemen that are running faster 40-yard dashes than quarterbacks. You got dudes with vertical leaps out of the yin-yang. You've got the measurables and the unmeasurables from kids from these schools, but you just don't have coaches that have the mindset to be able to look past. They played at Tuskegee. They played at FAMU. They played at Jackson State. And if you don't have that, then guess what? You're not doing your team, your organization, a good service and making them winning programs.
Well, that's why, some people say players don't make good coaches. But then again, on the flip side, I'm saying that's why sometimes they do. And that's why that when we're talking about how Todd Haley can go from not ever playing football to now, to a head coaching job in the NFL, then how can he out recruit me when I've seen and played on the side of guys that I know sometimes it ain't about the numbers. Yeah. It's about the intangibles, what you just talked about.
Right.
And when you ain't never played the game, how can you come and move faster in the business than me when I played in the game?
Right.
And that's what I'm saying.
The level of arrogance that Todd Haley displayed in Pittsburgh, the level of arrogance he's displayed in Cleveland with the Browns, it's almost like, dude, like you might have the X's and O's, but you don't even have an understanding of the game and situations and let alone player relationships. So, it's a whole lot more to it.
Well, that's how they coach.
Okay.
They coach on numbers.
Okay.
Because they never been in those experiences. They coach on numbers and memory, and seeing situations when you as a player can coach on experience.
Yeah.
But this is when I wanted to take another step. That's why it's so important that Blacks be in administration until those scouts faces change and we get more Black scouts as well as coaches.
Yeah.
Then kids like at Black colleges will always be left out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So because recruiting is objective. I might see a kid and think that he can play lights out. And then you might look at that same kid and don't think so.
Right.
But when we have some of the same backgrounds, then most of the time we're going to be on the same page because we're not looking at numbers. We're looking at, man, I've seen that body style before. Yeah. I've seen tight hips. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've seen a pear-shaped guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where his power is going east and west instead of north and south.
Yeah.
So until we change some of those faces, we're going to be talking about this.
Coach Johnnie Cole, HBCU Stroll here on the lunch break. Let's switch gears real quick before we have to go and before StreamYard acts up again. Look, now that I'm running my own business, that time is money. I'm about to get on the phone with them and say, yo, what's going on? Where's my credit for the amount of time my network was down? So, man, you were right, Coach. I was asking you who was going to win the SWAC regular season and go into the tournament as the number 1 seed. I was saying Southern. I was saying TSU. And you said, nah, it's going to be one of those teams in that next group. And sure enough, Alcorn just slowly but surely started rising. And they found themselves a half game in that number 1 spot. And guess what? They were like Luda coming for that number 1 spot. They beat Texas Southern to claim the number 1 seed in the SWAC tournament that'll be coming up this week. And man, I gotta give you credit. You were right. You said it was gonna be somebody other than those 2 schools.
I mean, Alcorn is rich in tradition, and when I looked at the numbers, things, it was a lot of parity.
Yeah.
And COVID hurted Prairie View early. It hurted Jackson State, and those 2 programs never got off the ground. And Texas Southern had to really reload. Johnny Jones had to really get out and put together a new team. He lost some people. So, but everybody was giving him the trophy and putting his name on the trophy before. But of course, and I know you got to win on the court. And, it's going to be exciting. And I still think, because Texas Southern opens up with Jackson State, and I'm scared of that one. Of course, you see on my chest, I'm scared. We at the end, everybody played us real tough. And it's tough to beat a team 3 times.
Yeah.
And we opened it up, and Jackson State is the eighth seed.
Jackson State number 7.
7, I'm sorry.
You slid into that number 8 seed. So here's what we got coming up. Like you said, it'll be number 2 seed Texas Southern taking on number 7 Jackson State. That'll be Wednesday afternoon. And then you've got they'll play the winner of number 3 Southern versus number 6 seed Grambling. That game will be Thursday afternoon. And then in the other bracket, you've got number 1 Alcorn taking on number 8 seed Prairie View. That will be Wednesday evening. And then the winner of that game will play the winner of number 4 Florida A&M versus number 5 Alabama A&M. That game will be Thursday evening. So you got some good matchups, man. I'm surprised Prairie View slid into that top 8. I don't think Prairie View will take Alcorn out, but that's why they play the games. That FAMU and Alabama A&M game is going to be very evenly matched. But like you said, Texas Southern better not look past Jackson State, because it could go bad.
I don't like that game too, because it's at 2:00.
Right.
That's at an unusual time.
Right.
And I, as a Texas Southern, can walk in there and say, "Oh, we got the 7 seed. We're gonna walk through this game."
Right.
And then Jackson State is saying, "We were chosen to win the conference." And not only did, we finished second. Oh, we barely snuck into this tournament. Or are they peaking?
Right.
At the right time.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, in basketball, win the league, yeah, okay. It's getting that money going to the NCAA tournament and playing after everybody else has put their sneakers on the shelf.
Absolutely. You're right. You called out a couple of real good matchups. Real quick, let me shout out to Snowman in the morning. Snowman got a real good morning show, man. I got to give him love. He's part of the BS3 TV family. Snowman, thanks for dropping in on me and the Coach Johnnie Cole during the HBCU Stroll. All right, Coach, I got to put you on the spot, man. Come on, let's go through it. Alcorn versus Prairie View this Thursday, 8:30. Who you got?
Alcorn.
All right. FAMU and Alabama A&M Thursday, Wednesday. No, I said that Alcorn Prairie View game, that's going to be Wednesday at 8:30. The FAMU Alabama A&M will be Thursday evening. Who you got in that one?
I'm gonna go with A&M.
Are you?
Yes.
Which A&M?
Alabama A&M.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they both got an A&M coach.
Yeah, you're right. Alabama A&M.
You tried to pull one of them fake pass plays on me when you hand the ball off down low or something, Coach. Coach, yeah. I didn't fall for that. All right, here we go. I'm going to save your team for last. Southern and Grambling, who you have?
I'm going to take Southern.
Coach. That means who you got, Texas Southern and Jackson State.
I'm going to take Jackson State upset. And you know that's hurt my heart.
I can't see you, Coach. What happened to Coach Johnnie Cole? What?
And I don't want to jinx my Tigers. I'm being selfish. I just want to be right. Maybe if they listening, they'll prove me wrong.
Okay, Coach. All right. So here's what he's got. I should have wrote these down because that's what we did during football. And you beat me. You barely beat me in football. That's a lie. He dominated me, y'all.
Well, only closeness happened in horseshoes
and hand grenades. So Alcorn over Prairie View, Alabama A&M over FAMU, Jackson State over Texas Southern, and you got Southern over Grambling.
Yes.
All right, so here's what I got. You ready?
Yes.
I got Alcorn over Prairie View. I got FAMU over Alabama A&M. I got Texas Southern over Jackson State. And I got Grambling over Southern in an upset.
Okay. Is that where the upset at?
That's where the upset's at.
Hey. We'll see.
Creep.
Another day or two.
Plot. They coming for that number one spot.
And they playing in Birmingham.
Yeah, they playing in Birmingham. Let's go over to the women's side now. I know you don't like that head coach over there on the women's side, but I gotta see what you're talking about. Jackson State versus number 8 Arkansas Pine Bluff on the ladies' side. Who you got?
It ain't close. Jackson State.
Okay. All right. Number 4 Southern versus Texas Southern. That'll be on the 10th in the early evening.
Man. Upset Southern over Texas Southern.
Okay. Well, Southern is the higher seed.
Oh, okay. Well, Southern over Texas Southern.
I saw that game here in Houston, and it was a close game until the ladies from TSU put the press on them.
Texas Southern laid down last week. The girls laid down and they didn't come up with it.
Okay. All right. Number 2 Alabama A&M versus number 7 Grambling. Who you got?
A&M and number 2 and number 7.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with A&M number 2.
All right, and then number 3 Alabama State versus number 6 Prairie View.
Alabama State.
All right, here's what I got. I got Jackson State. I got Texas Southern over Southern. I got Alabama A&M over Grambling, and I've got I got Alabama State in the in that one right there. All right, look, your guy Captain Trey Pike said, Coach Cole, since you're doing the stroll, who's the only non-HBCU to play in the Orange Blossom Classic, and what year was it?
What team?
Yes.
And it was a non-HBCU?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I don't know the answer either.
Well, it had to be a Florida team.
Okay.
Playing against Florida A&M.
Okay.
Orange Blossom City Classic.
Yep. Yeah,
I take Florida State played in there.
I'm finna look it up. Orange Blossom Classic. What is my thing doing?
And he didn't put the team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he just did. He said it was Jacksonville State out of Alabama in 1970.
Okay.
That's pretty good. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, he's from Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah. He out there on the waters now. He listening to us out there on the ship, on the boat. Coach, so something else I wanted to touch on real quick. Apparently there was an offer or an extension made to a school up in Tennessee to join the SWAC. And apparently there was a offer made to a team in North Carolina to come back to the MEAC. And both apparently have decided to do something different. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Tennessee State, and they are under a mandate to change from, a predominantly black college to a lot of diversity. Uh, and it's about money,
Yeah.
and of course it's about opportunity. But it's such a shame that some of these PWI schools having 1, 2, and 5% of African Americans, and everything is okay. But they got big donors, and I think it's long overdue. I think Tennessee State avoided it some 40 years ago when they went independent, and they won a championship, only national championship back in 19, I want to say 78. And I watched the game, and they just never really bought into the let me get in the SWAC concept. But as of now, they still hadn't gotten just due of playing PWI schools. If you look at the record, and again, I don't want to sound like a broken record. The only conference championship was in 98, 99.
Yeah.
Which they don't even mention because it wasn't a John Merritt and it wasn't an Eddie George. It was an LC Cole. And for some reason, they want to forget about those years. And that was the only time that they've been in the conference that they've won it. So, and so the conference don't give them no credit anyway. So why not join the SWAC?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're only in there so their band and the team could travel. And then the schools that they travel to, they get the big, because everybody want to come and see the band play.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why they're getting some benefits when it comes to football.
Well, we'll see if George can coach. We'll see, because, he's talking about making a jump to FBS, which is a whole different ball game. A&T is talking about has agreed to join the Colonial Athletic Conference with schools like Delaware, William and Mary, James Madison, Hofstra, Drexel, Charleston, Northeastern, James Madison, Townsend, Richmond. That's a Villanova, Stony Brook. It ain't a bad conference. What do you think about their chances there, given what they did in the Big South Conference?
I think they're going to be even better because you're looking at a bunch of academic schools as well, that, don't put a lot of emphasis on winning.
Yeah.
You got James Madison, a good football program out of there. That's been a consistent winner. I think it was one more that Delaware.
Yeah.
That wins some, but the rest go Stony Brook and
William and Mary. Yeah.
Yeah, William and Mary. They don't put a lot of emphasis on winning football championships. So I think the A&T should be able to recruit at a respectable level and be able to bring in coaches in there that can coach at that level and win football games. Yeah. So I think they should automatically, when they join it, they're in the top 5.
Oh, really? You think they jumped that high that soon?
They should. They should. I've played teams in that conference, and I mean, the athletes are not that great.
Yeah, I got you. Coach, we down to our final minutes on our HBCU Stroll. One team that did not drop off basketball-wise in the MEAC that, unlike their football team, was Norfolk State, man. They stayed winning. Now they're getting ready to play their conference tournament. If they don't win that tournament with their record, do you think they get an at-large bid? It don't normally happen to HBCUs.
Well, they still have that play-in bid.
Yeah.
So that play-in bid is for teams and conferences like the SWAC and the MEAC. So winning the MEAC, they will get that bid if they don't do as well as they expected in the tournament.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm concerned about, because I know if they win the conference tournament, they'll probably be in that play-in round,
right?
Just like Texas Southern was last year,
right?
But, with the record that Norfolk State has, their regular season record, to me, is good enough to get them an at-large bid. I just don't understand why the committee never looks at HBCUs.
But their schedule is not large enough or good enough, because you look at all your people in your conference. Where are they ranked at? They probably in the bottom quarter of Division I-A basketball.
Right.
So you ain't getting no points there.
Right.
And then of course when you play the teams that's up in the top, it looks at, well, then how bad they beat you. If they beating you by 15 or 10 or more, 15 or more, you really ain't getting points there. So the old saying is, your coins ain't adding up.
Right.
We over here in America, and you count pesos. When America, we count dimes, nickels, and quarters.
Right. Yeah, I struggle with the fact that a team like that could possibly miss the tournament. And watch this. Typically, when it's an HBCU, not only do they not get invited to the NCAA tournament, they don't get invited to the NIT as well. They end up in one of these CBI or one of these other tournaments that, again, it's fun to say we made it to a postseason tournament, but it's just not the same.
Let me throw some on your mind. There was a team called Texas Wesleyan.
Mm-hmm.
The first time started all blacks and won it all.
Right.
The only difference was it was a white coach.
Right.
So my question to you, or to the coaches at these black schools, we got to be better, and we got to do better.
Yeah.
And we can.
Yeah. Coach, we got to go. Why don't you go ahead and give everybody your info, where they can find you and follow you. Natasha Marie said, good afternoon, y'all. Keep it 100, Coach Cole.
Facebook under Johnnie Cole. Twitter under Cold-Blooded Big Play. Hobo Big Play. I need to make sure I stay on top of that. And also Instagram, Cold-Blooded 9.
Coach, as always, it's a pleasure to take the HBCU Stroll with you. We will have plenty to talk about on next Monday as we see the results of the SWAC basketball tournament, men and women. We'll also talk about the MEAC as well. So, Coach, have a good rest of your day. Be safe out there. Keep enjoying that weather. And, man, you got to share some of them nuggets with me, man.
Thank you much. I'm enjoying myself. I got to go back to reality in the morning and, work the rest of the week. And then we off spring break. So I look forward to that. I'm going to spend some family time especially with my two boys. It's going to be the boys' time. We're going to take a road trip, just the two-brush and us.
All right. Well, y'all enjoy it. Y'all be safe out there. Can't wait to get you in studio once everything is built out.
Beautiful.
Man, looking forward to doing some great things, man.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. We'll talk to you soon.
My brother.
All right, Nuke.
Take care.
All right, y'all. It's the lunch break. We're about to wrap it up. We appreciate Coach Cole for coming in with the HBCU Stroll. Hey, it's Women's History Month, and before I go, I want to celebrate Janet Guthrie. Janet Guthrie was born on this day back in 1938 in Iowa City, Iowa. She would grow up to become the first woman to compete in the Indianapolis 500 and the Daytona 500, both in 1970. So again, on Women's History Month, we got a sister out there that was making history in sports. Janet Guthrie, again, competed in the Indianapolis 500 and the Daytona 500. She was born on this day back in 1938. Listen, as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There's nothing you can do about it, except do this. Follow me at Jones Media and ENT, short for entertainment. Jones Media and ENT. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm in the process of coming up with something for Twitter, but y'all follow us because we got some big things happening. Again, the radio career is over. TV, internet, streaming. Let us help you bring your dreams to screens and streams. That's what we'll be doing here at Jones Media and Entertainment. Y'all have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.